Abusia yin channel yen san so emu akwaba ebe channel so ha eda so aye be media jecha so be so wase ene da edi kan ye wani etwa channel so a ene de no go kwan so abusia be so wase be subscribe e de amai bobo notification bell no so from a podcast update abusia na senya na eyade a eye auditor general e de report bi e de ebaye abusia na eche se enye easy wo hwe sika twetwedie bi abusia amanebo ne echiremu eche se ana se auditor general report e de ba abonte na eche se enkofo bi eche se abo oye eye oman ne kro no na busua we na ma eye lawyer appear ko bi abusua wa ba abonten aba be che na adwen in fact wadi nkomo pa enya nsem keto abusua we dey ma meka sa wa pese ye ko na ye bowura eye ne nsem abusua eche se odi atudwa after say auditor general e dey no report e dey eba ye ha e da so aye be media je abusua be se wa se ene dey di kamani to channel so ni dey no go kwan so abusua be se wa so be subscribe e dey amai bobo notification bell no so for more podcast update yanko nintin semwa eye lawyer appear ko bi abusua odi atudwa abra auditor general e dey report e dey buy intini na ebatisia
the problem that we're faced with right now. Look at this one. Okay, this cannot be countenanced in any way, shape, or form. But you say you want us to personalize the stealing.
The stealing. First and foremost, let's identify the offense. It is stealing, not corruption. And then let's look at the elements of that charge or of that crime and prosecute people according to the elements. And again, let us find the culprits. Kick out politics entirely. These are acts of persons or either corporate persons or normal persons.
Government officials.
Government officials. They are, if they are found to be wrong, they are found to have done the illegal acts. Let us see them as people facing the law and let the law take its course. At the end of the day, when they are convicted, let us see them punished. And then let's try to reform our system. But that brings me into these areas. When you put people before a trial, chances are that people who would have committed crimes would want to elect to be prosecution witnesses and run away from the crimes. And that is dangerous.
Don't go ahead of me on that one. Okay. You see, but if you're talking about this being limited to just identifying the people or the companies and prosecuting them, some would also argue that it happened within the period, within a particular period as well. You would have to be raising questions as to what may have aided some of these acts of mobilization, advanced mobilization being paid to certain people, contractors, and they not even going to do what they are paid.
So what I'm saying is that find those people,
money for.
Find those people and prosecute them. Why did you take the money? Why did you not do what was expected of you? And by all means, answer the questions yourself. Take advantage of the legal system. You are entitled to legal counsel and all that. Bring your lawyer, come to court, and then let's prosecute you. And let it be your action, not the action predicated on any other person. And let not politics come in at all. And when we are able to retrieve our monies and engage, we can also bring civil action. Under Article 41 of the Constitution, once the Attorney General Auditor General identifies wrongdoing, malfeasance here and there, we can also come to civil court. And I want to encourage as many lawyers as possible to also pick some of these cases and come to civil court just to retrieve the amount lost to the state and let the criminal prosecution also continue for you to be punished for your criminal mind. There are two things. You have a criminal mind, you did that. You have stolen our money, we want it back. So let these two concurrent actions continue. And then we can retrieve as much as possible. And people can punish for wrongdoing at the same time. Simultaneously, we can do that. So that's my prescription.
But you don't also see internal collusion in this instance.
Well, prosecution
because some of these things cannot be done without some level of collaboration with persons.
When you are prosecuting
within these ministries,
you are likely to find the people who would have abetted the crime. And they also accused persons, bring them in and let them come and also face the law. What I want us not to do is to say that it happened when Apiakubi was chairman of so and so committee, and therefore he influenced. No, Apiakubi knew the money was there, didn't take. Then you, Kwesi Mensah, you saw also the money was there and you took. So Kwesi Mensah, come and face the charges. And don't relate it to Apiakubi in any way. And let Kwesi Mensah come and defend himself. If we do that, then, and I'd like to also congratulate Dr. Ayini. In the course of his investigations, he set some standard. At the time, people didn't agree with him that at least to be able to recover part of the loss to the state, let people pay 60% or so. I agreed with him because it is not
agreeing with that?
Yes, because at least that was bringing some money back into the government chest. But sometimes you prosecute somebody, and at the end of the prosecution, he is convicted, you send him to jail, and we still have to take care of him. So he continues to enjoy at the expense of the state. So if they bring back 60%, it's a good start, but I should not continue. Let us also set a threshold in terms of time and say between now and this time, if you have taken public funds, bring the 60% and let us abort the prosecution. But beyond that, the standard is that if you knowing that this is the regime change and this is what we expect, you continue to do the wrong things, then we will prosecute you and want to retrieve 100%. Once we have given a holiday, let the holiday also have limits, and let it also be omnibus for everybody. So everybody who has taken government money between now and say end of June, bring 60% and go and negotiate. I think that would be a good start. Beyond June ending, whoever has state money, bring 100%.
If there is the chance to recover all 100%, why then do you want us to start from 60%?
No, I'm talking about when the Attorney General started.
Yes.
In fact, he started with a standard. And I'm suggesting that if the standard has been taken, and at the time that he started, I think we critically needed money into government chest. So it was good that he tried to retrieve some of the monies. But it cannot continue into the future. So I'm saying that let this holiday be
an amnesty period.
Have an end. So that everybody, even if they haven't called you, but you know that you are likely to be called. You know that you have taken government money. You yourself, volunteer and come to the Attorney General and say, yes, this money is with me. I'm prepared to come under this cover, and I'm paying this 60%. Because I know there's a deadline. Beyond the deadline, and let us publish it. So beyond the deadline, if you are caught of having government money, then the threshold is 100%, and then you have to come and pay. Indeed, I supported him at the time when people didn't understand him, but it must end at some point in time. And it also must be omnibus for everybody, whoever has government money.
He said it.
Yes.
It's everybody.
Come and negotiate and pay that amount, the rate, and then we'll move on. I congratulate him this morning.
I see, but people, in this same audit, what we told is that some 89.4 million was said to have been paid to 5 banks, classified as 1D, 1F interest payment. But all these 5 banks, when they were contacted, said, look, we don't have any records of such amounts being paid to them. Quite concerning, to say the least, is it not?
Yes, but I'm not surprised.
Why?
Not surprised because that's been our stock in trade. You know, this thing didn't start today. I'm sure you have this in Domlevo on. You hear Auditor General, previous Auditor General say it. And that's how come I'm mad that Johnson Ekwuamwesi is still in office.
Why?
I mean, come on, that shows that they were doing a poor job. You see, we've always been saying that, look, Ekwuamwesi is not up to this job. He's not.
General?
Or the Auditor General.
Who conducted this audit?
No, they added the private sector people. These things, look.
And,
yes. The other private sector people, because he sat in there, he didn't see or colluded. That's what we say.
How do you even make that conclusion?
Very good. You see the part that is the bank transfer advice. Bank transfer advice, that one means that's at the last stage with the governor for them to be paid. And that would have passed through the Auditor General's office. This one. This one, yes.
Almost 18.3 billion?
Yes. The controller people. After controller, etc., goes to the, what do you call it, the Bank of Ghana, etc. So all this while, what were they doing? All this while.
So you'll be questioning elements within the Auditor General's department,
yeah,
and not the person who is leading that.
Good.
Has he been the one to...
Good. So now let's come.
Television as well. This special audit that was conducted by the Auditor General on government arrears submitted for audit. Because when this administration took over in 2025, a number of ministries, departments, and agencies and service providers all submitted invoices, bank transfers that were actually just needing some action to be taken, and monies would have been paid to this tune of almost over 18 billion Ghana cedis. And these interim payment certificates, that is one that you would have contractors normally submit when they start executing government projects. Invoices to the tune of over 50.5 billion Ghana cedis. The big deal here is the amounts involved in this and exactly what is going to be done, because this is the total that was submitted, almost 69 billion Ghana cedis in government arrears to contractors, to service providers, other persons who say, well, we have done some work for government, so government, pay us what you owe us in execution of 1D1F, that's Agenda 111 project and so on. After this audit, this was a forensic audit, and that's another conversation we'll have, because what we're realizing is that a number of the forensic audits that have been employed has uncovered more rot than just a normal audit. We'll be finding out from the former Auditor General whether the forensic audit should not be the standard for auditing public accounts, so that we'll get to know a lot more of the rot in there than just a normal audit that sometimes will not uncover some of the things that we get to see. But this is what we're dealing with. Let's hear a Deputy Finance Minister on the floor of Parliament earlier this week, giving details of what has become the talking point. It will now segue into the bigger conversation on Operation Recover All. Take a look at the Deputy Finance Minister.
Out of the 68.7 billion Ghana cedis.
That's the Deputy Finance Minister giving us the details of what he made that emphatic statement about this rot ending right then when this declaration or the details was given. The troubling picture is that all of this involved some ministries, departments, and agencies, which we would get into. But if you recall, in November last year, when the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasela Tufosun, was giving details of the 2026 budget, he gave a hint of what we're talking about now. At that time, he gave or announced a figure of a little over 10 billion that had been identified as some claims on government or the state coffers that lacked documentation or were found to be fictitious. Now, what we're seeing per the after this forensic audit, that figure has reduced to a little over 8 billion. We would understand what exactly has led to this development as we are seeing now. Over 8 billion claims on state coffers, people who say they've done all sorts of works for the government or for the state, has been rejected. And after this forensic audit, a little over 13.2 billion in terms of documents that are being verified for payment to be initiated or rejected is also in the offing. and over 45.4 billion claims have been validated for payment. So bear that in mind. Out of the 68 billion, this is what we are paying that has been validated. Yes, that people said they did one work or the other for the state and are going to be paid for that matter. If you look at the details as we have it, if we just interrogate the data a bit and disaggregate the data, you understand what we are seeing now and why this is of a big concern. They say the devil is in the detail. This is what we're seeing. Rice was procured. 34,000 is what was paid for. 34,000 metric tons of rice was paid for. Only 24,000 metric tons was received. There was a shortage of 10,000 metric tons, which was actually paid for but was never delivered. Somebody obviously has to answer questions for this. Maize as well, 100,000 metric tons was contracted to be supplied, and just about 11,900 metric tons was delivered. There was over 88,000 that was not delivered. Somebody has to answer questions for this. That's not the only one. If you look at the ministries, departments, and agencies that brought claims to the finance ministry that, well, these persons, contractors, others, service providers have done one work or the other for the state. And so they are claiming that you should pay them. But then after this forensic audit, it was found out that there were no supporting documents. Ministry of Gender tops it with over 241 million Ghana cedis worth of claims without supporting documentation. And this was an audit as at the end period of the financial year 2024. Ministry of Roads, 26.3 million. Judicial Service, 18.2 million. Ministry of Special Initiative, that ministry doesn't exist anymore, 3.7 million. Ministry of Health, 2.4 million. And then the Attorney General's Department, a little over 780,000 Ghana cedis. The Ministry of Health, you heard the Deputy Finance Minister talk about some of the Agenda 111 projects and some persons who came that they should be paid for no work done. So in some cases, roads that claims had been put in, they went there and there was no road constructed, as a matter of fact. There was another source of what was uncovered to be the plunder on state coffers, the duplication or inflated claims. Local government ministry topped that one with a little over 408 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Energy duplicated or inflated claims over 386.7, that's about 387 million Ghana cedis. National Service, bear this in mind because we're going to come to something that involves this institution again. The National Service, they brought duplicated or inflated claims of almost 335 million Ghana cedis. You know, this National Service scheme is a subject of Operation Recover or Loot. So the persons who presided over the operations of this National Service Secretariat or authority at the time, 334.5 million. Ministry of Roads, almost 126 million Ghana cedis of inflated or duplicated claims. And Ministry of Health, a little over 104 million Ghana cedis. And then NCC, that's another area as well to look at because this is an institution that they normally don't have money. They rely on the donor agencies to fund their operations. But then we're seeing something playing out there, duplicated, inflated claims as well involving this particular.
We ain't some who team course or channel so. Mammy and what's so Jimre. That's an so bad in the Dumbi Adumania. Unia, a best sign Asia.